swing. Do-wop, 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 do-wop. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Hey, do-wop, 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 do-wop. Halo, halo, halo. Diva, yeah. All right, today we are going into the Clubhouse. We have an interview with Phillip Simpson, that is Dr. Sebe's grandson. Dr. Sebe's grandson, we're going to have an interview with him. So we are going to be live in the Clubhouse, and I am going into the Clubhouse. I am going into the Clubhouse. So I think I do not see the tag. Let me see. Maybe there's a lot of different tags up here. But we are going into the Clubhouse today. We're talking to, once again, Phillip Jackson. Phillip Jackson, Sebe's grandson. Let's see here. And I do not see our room set up. So let me see what's going on with our room. Hello. Hello. How y'all doing, Facebook? How y'all doing, Facebook? Thank y'all for joining us. We're going to have a great interview, a great live interview today as we get set up with the Clubhouse. Let's see if I can find out what is going on with Divine. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And we've got Phillip going to be joining us in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And we are getting set up for the Clubhouse. All right. So, all right. Let's see if we can get this thing set up. Thank y'all for joining us today. Once again, Diva Laree. Going into the Clubhouse. So let's see what's going on here. Greetings.
I'm pinging everyone in my collection here. I welcome you guys to do the same.
All right, so now we've got coming on in just a few minutes, we're going to have Phillip Simpson, who's going to be joining us. He is Sebe's grandson. We're going to talk about quite a few things. He's got his plant-based materials, his foods that he's selling. He's setting up his business. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk, of course, about Dr. Sebe and some of the things. Let me get everybody to mute. All right, let me get everybody to mute. So we're going to talk to Phillip about some of the things that are going on with him. He's got his store going on. Let me get everybody to mute. He's got his healing sessions that he does. We're going to deal with, he's in everything. He's in the cryptocurrency as well. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things. So listen, y'all stay tuned. He's going to be joining us here in a few minutes. Now, I know a lot of y'all have some questions about Dr. Sebe. We're going to get into, the whole story behind Dr. Sebe, get into his relationship with his grandfather and what he learned. So I'm excited to have him on. Monica, hello. Thank you for joining us. Thank everybody for joining us. Clint, thank you, Princess, for being here. Let's see if we can get this thing up and rocking. Let's see. Phillip should be joining us soon. And y'all know this Facebook. Let's see. There's a way you could invite people. Let's see if I can invite somebody. Yes, I'm going to invite. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. All right, so we'll wait for him to come on. All right, in the meantime, let us go over some things. Y'all make sure you go to UNA lovemarket.com, and go ahead and get your love note. I got so many people wanting that love note. Go get it. You can get that at UNAlovemarket.com. UNAlovemarket.com. And go ahead and get that. Let's see. Let's see if we can ping Phillip into this room and then get this thing rolling. Because y'all know when I get started, there's some sessions that we're going to have coming up that we go back. We take it back to where we get to go through the actual ancient scriptures as well as the biblical scriptures. And we're going to compare and contrast with those also with science. So it's going to be, we got some great topics coming up. And if you all have any topics that you all want us to cover, please let us know. We'd be glad to do that. So now, the other thing, we talked about Love Market with the Love Note. Please go and get that. We also want to encourage you to check us out every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. 7 to 9 a.m. on Tuesday mornings, because we're always we're doing a live from Clubhouse as well as Facebook. Wednesdays we have a session which is our pre-session. You can catch us there at 7 p.m. Eastern, all of these Eastern times. And then on Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., which is today, we got a special session with Phillip Simpson. And we're looking for him to come on in a few minutes. Clint Casey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm almost home here. About 20 minutes.
All right, excellent. All right, so we're going to once again, Phillip come on in here. All right, as we get ready to get him in, let's see where we are. Again, waiting on Dr. Sebe, grandson. As he comes on, let me make sure he knows where to go. All right, so now if I get to talking, I'm gonna just rock and roll with this thing. I'm just letting you know. If I get to talking, I'm rocking and rolling. Ain't gonna be no interview. I know. Okay, I'll talk about some foods Dr. Sebe loves. I'll tell you about all the non-alkaline foods. Oh, Arushas is in the house. Hayla Arushas. Oh. Oh boy, this is like crack cocaine right here. Wait a minute. Your audio is not good at all. Okay, hold on. Let me try to. Okay, Arushas. 1 second. All right, I'm adding Dr. Sebe's grandson, Phillip Simpson, into the room. Let's see if this works. Phillip is adding. It says,
okay.
There he is. There he is. And there he is. Wait a minute. Let's make sure your audio is good, because we want everybody to be able to hear you. One moment, Phillip. Let's see. Let's try this here. All right. Can you do a testing for me, Phillip?
Yep. Mic check. 212.
Bluetooth connected.
Mic check.
Keep going.
Mic check. 212.
Keep going, because I don't know why we're not connected on this thing.
Oh my gosh. These people.
No, keep going. We're going to Can you hear me?
Okay. I guess we back on now.
Okay, this thing not gonna let me be great today. This is not gonna let me be great today. All right, hold on.
Oh,
Oh no, we're
dang.
gonna do this. I want to make sure everybody hears you. 1 second. Uh, hold on. No, we not. We will not be outdone today. 1 second, Phillip. Don't go nowhere.
No problem.
Because this is okay. See, people. Let me tell you something, Phillip.
Was
When technology starts acting up, I just do what I need to do to get stuff done, and people start laughing. But I get it done. So this one I'm going to
right,
do. I'm going to work some magic. Wait, hold on, don't go
right,
nowhere.
right.
I'm going to work some magic.
Hey,
So give me one
okay.
second. Once again, everybody at Facebook, I want to say thank you all for joining us. And the deal is that I have Phillip on the line, but for whatever my Bluetooth is not letting me be great today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work some new magic, and do it like I do it, and then we're gonna keep it moving. All right. So Phillip, give me 1 second. You have Zoom, Phillip?
Um, I think I do have Zoom. Yes.
Because I just want to make sure everybody can hear you. That's the only thing. And so when we're talking, can you all hear us in Facebook land? Let's see if they can hear us. Because Facebook can hear us, but Clubhouse won't be able to hear us. So Facebook, can you all hear us okay? Let us know. And then hold on for a second, Phillip. I'm going to send you this, and then we're going to rock and roll with this thing. Um,
Uh,
let's see
All
what I
right,
got.
for sure.
Yeah. So if I send you a link, hopefully you'll be able to join this. And then we'll go from there, because I just want to see if I can get everybody to hear you.
I
Can you
gotta
all
see
hear us
something.
on Facebook?
CMOS. I
Say,
gotta see something. CMOS. I feel good as. Oh my gosh. I
hold
feel
up.
so good now.
Make notes. CMOS. I want you to tell me about the CMOS. Because yes, okay, 1 second. Let me see. I told y'all this is gonna be a fiery interview already. You can see that uh, the technology is trying to uh, hamper this situation, but I'm not gonna let it. All right, 1 second, Phillip. I'm gonna send this to you, and then you let me know if you're able to get in on this, and then we're gonna make this thing happen. All right, all right. Did you get that? Let me know if you got that.
I did.
All right, can you join that? All right. Can y'all still see me? All right, Facebook, can y'all still see me? See, it showed me how to get somebody in. It didn't show me how to get them out. All right, Facebook, can y'all see me? Uh-oh.
Can y'all still see me? Yeah, we can see you. It's gone to explanation.
Okay, so is my screen full there, or is no?
Somebody in. It never shows an exclamation.
All right, so I probably have to exit here and try it again. Yeah, it shows me how to get in, but how do you get out? All right, all right. I'm gonna exit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Wait. We're in the house. Okay, can you see me? Now let me get Phillip over here. Let me get Phillip over here. All right. All right. So let's see if we can get Phillip on this Zoom, and then let's keep it rolling. All right. For whatever reason, my Bluetooth is not working, so uh, you know, I'm trying to get it where we can hear him on. Well, he's trying to join, so we'll see. We'll see. We will see. All right. So at any rate, while I do this, I want to acknowledge Arushas. I want you to, whenever you're ready, we're going to set up an appointment, and we're going to take some time to have a conversation and go through some things that need to be discussed, because I want you to be there and share your uh, your side of some things that we discussed yesterday. So thank you for joining us. We were trying to get you back in the house last night, but we couldn't find you. But hopefully we'll be able to have a conversation. And all right, all right. So now, as we prepare to get loaded in here, all right. I don't know why it's always something with the technology. Parrots, pair. Let's see if we can get this to pair. Pair. All right. Add other Bluetooth devices. Let's do this. All right. As we prepare, we got Phillip coming on, and we're just, connecting our audio to make sure we're good with the audio. Bluetooth connected. All right. So that's connected. And let's get Phillip in here. And he's loading his system up. So, okay, so here we go. All right, so Arushas, we're gonna set up an appointment or what? We're gonna make that happen.
What you trying to know?
All right, what I want to know, I want you to have the opportunity to speak.
We spoke yesterday. You kicked me out.
I didn't kick you out. All right, all right, thank you. Never mind. If you ready, we'll set up an appointment. If you don't, then that's fine. That's on you. All right.
What's the appointment about?
About the conversation, finishing the conversation, and giving you the full opportunity to share what you got to share.
What shirt?
All right, bye, Rushas. Princess, I told you, if you want to do it, we'll set up a time.
I'm good where I'm at.
Okay, well then, bye. Bye. All right. I was getting, see, you saw I tried to get a brother opportunity, didn't I? I tried to give the brother opportunity, but he didn't want to hear it. So, okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right. We got Phillip coming in, so we can get this thing moving. What is it doing? What is it's setting up? All right, so he's coming in, and so we're gonna get moving. Thank y'all for your patience. I'm gonna get him on here, and we're gonna start rolling. We're gonna give it, we're gonna give it some extra time today, because we're getting started a little bit behind, because the technology does not want to let us be great, but we're going to still be great. So today in the house, we have Dr. Sebe's grandson, Phillip Simpson, and we're going to talk. Of course, y'all want to know about what happened behind, the whole, all of this stuff going on behind the scenes with, Dr. Sebe and his death, and things like that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about also Phillip and his endeavors. He's got a lot of things going on. He's got a store coming up soon. He's talking about his plant-based meals. We're talking about deals that he's landing now. We're talking about how he's healing people. So we've got a lot of fun stuff to discuss with him today. We're going to get into probably some cryptocurrency. We're going to get into some what is money. He just mentioned his CMOS, so we're going to get into that. So as we prepare to let him come on and see what is going on. What's going on over here? Let's see. Again, we have our little, we were set up, and for whatever reason, when we went to run the show, well, it did what it does. All right, let's see if we can find out what's going on with Phillip and get him in here so that we can get this thing started. Okay. All right, so let's see if I can get him in here. What's going on? All right. And guess what? Guess who's in the house? Guess who is in the house? Hold on for a second. Let me. There we go.
You know.
I told y'all I do not mess around. This technology, when it wants to act up, we're gonna figure out a way to make something happen, and that's what we did. Now I don't know. Look at this. Look. I don't see. Somebody tell me this technology is tripping. Look at my friend. Hey Phillip. Hello Phillip.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful now that you're in the house. I'm wonderful.
Thank you.
I got this light that doesn't. I'm telling you, what you doing? What you making the technology do, Phillip?
Thank you so much. I don't know. You can simplify it or you can make it complicated. I always tell people technology, take in your knowledge. But you know, our ancestors really improved technology. I don't know what's up with this stuff. You got systems that wait on each other, and it bothers people like you and me to actually get out information. So it's like,
Yes.
So what's going on?
Listen, I'm glad to have you in the house. Thank you for being here. Thank you for going through all this stuff. Listen, we were ready to roll, and then the technology's acting up. Now look, you got a pineal gland on your forehead because the light won't go out. That's all right. It's just representing for you.
Right. Right.
So Phillip Simpson. All right, and you know what? I want to say thank thank you so much once again for joining us. You've got so many things going on. When I first talked to you, you were a firecracker. You got all these things that you're working on and building, and then I want to talk to you because I know you've gotten a lot of influence from your grandfather, Dr. Sebe. And so let's talk about that because everybody don't want to know. Everybody wants to know. So let's get on this. Once again, in the house, Phillip Simpson. All right, everybody's gonna want to know about what's going on, what you learned from your granddad, and then we're gonna get into the drama side, and then we're gonna move into what you love, what you're doing, and what you love to do. So let's talk about it, Phillip.
All right.
Well, okay. So the first thing I want to know. All right, now being Dr. Sebe's grandson, what is it that you learned from him? What do you feel is the main thing you take away from growing up with Dr. Sebe? What was your relationship like with him?
Really, projects. Me and my grandfather used to describe him finding very rare plants that heal the body once you create the right environment. Because me and my grandfather, we used to go back and forth when we used to talk about his certain things that he discovered, especially when he came into the Americas after Haiti. So, and me and him will go, pound for pound about a lot of different prolific information. Especially when me and him used to talk about God, or down to him discovering that potentially the body wasn't designed to eat. Because I'm just his grandson, but I'm a person that has inquisitions like the next woman, the next man, to a man that really knows this stuff. So I used to be like, damn, that's mighty fine for you, Grandpa, to be fasting about 90 days. What made you do that? So that type of influence kind of made me, him answering that type of question, especially with him saying, I remember my first question to him about fasting, because that's what I'm on actually. Today and tomorrow, next 7 days, it's nothing but fasting. And that kind of dealt with him discovering that the body potentially wasn't designed to actually eat. So I kind of look back on that question. I was just like, yo, that's mad crazy, because I used to tell my grandfather, I got really spiritual, and I conjured up a bunch of energy that I received in many different areas with learning, certain experiences with the spiritual and the mental and the spiritual, mental, and physical world that we're all living in. So, yeah, me and him will go back and forth on many different intellectual and intelligent-based conversations, and also spiritual conversations.
Now you say back and forth, right? Do you mean
he kind of asked me where
debates?
He was kind of like, yo, like, I didn't teach you certain things, so how do you know? Because I was constructing a device right after high school. And like I said, I took a lot of my own drive based on our ancestors, based on my grandfather, and I started constructing. I started seeing some of the results we was getting in as our people. I'm a brother that grew up in Atlanta, Ohio, New York, Florida, you name it, out here. And so I've been looking at the outskirts of diet a certain way. So I said, let me make something that actually picks up illness in the body. Let me make something that can actually tell us from our house what's wrong with us. So
now,
like that,
So now, when you're saying you're developing different programs or food programs that help people's vessels, right? How did you start working with your grandfather? Like what things would he teach you and show you that you started putting together to say, okay, Granddad showed me this, and if I take this and put it with this, then I can create this. Tell me some of the, if you could. Tell me some of the things that you learned from your grandfather that you said, okay, let me put this together with that. And,
Yeah, before my grandfather, because he wanted a project to be made 30 to 40 years ago. And the kind of project that he was requesting amongst the people was the $200 million, funding that he needed. And he wanted me to be a part of that. So, and we spoke on many different things on how I could be a part of that and how I was going to be highly affiliated, because he spoke highly of me. One thing that I believe just like anybody would have known, the Dr. Sebe project would have worked. You know, putting farmland that's not just owned by my grandfather, but he didn't look at it as, like how you described, he didn't look at farmland to learn how to research and grow herbs as far as a unnecessary complex. He had the idea to actually teach people how to grow their own herbs, practice human sustainability, and you can retrieve this information, when you're getting off work or if you're in college. It was going to be in every state. So he needed a $200 million, fund, and he wanted me to be a part of it because my grandfather used to change up his formulas every 5 to 10 years. Every 5 to 10 years, my grandfather's changing up his formulas, and he used to look at how to heal diseases a lot more effectively with plant-based compounds. So he would describe to me, the areas he used to go, the people he used to talk to obtain plants, and he wanted to build a family-based affiliation so we can actually start a lot of his plans. And at the time, I was already constructing a device. I was already, I was going to be a part of his house developments because I was already working on building houses in like 2011. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to be a part of that, and he thought that was very lovely. So, and then that's when everything kind of went to cahoots. But
right. Yeah. So now talk about some of the things that your grandfather had planned and some of the challenges that he might have met as he was getting these plans developed. Can you talk about that? Like some of the challenges, like I'm sure, you were talking about some of the things he was setting up and maybe, what was happening as he was attempting, because he needed this, $28 million project he was building. So what kind of problems did he face, if you were aware of?
It was just funding. It was just funding. He wanted to see if he can, get people to spend at least $1, or he basically believed that subscriptions, was pretty much the way to go, to where you can get basically the best formulas out here in the world from Dr. Sebe, and you will get them at a discount, based on, you just constantly buying herbs and then receiving information for what it is. So I think the subscription was from $1 all the way into some of the products he had. So, those subscription prices would have went to the $200 million Dr. Sebe project, in which, I could have helped him. Other people, my family, could have helped too as well. But it just led into, less funding. That was the only thing. And he was actually obtaining it. It's just that, in moderation, it didn't begin due to the transition of how that even happened, the infiltration of, my grandfather or whatnot. But it was, in my opinion, it would have been one of the highest leading roles out here in this, in this world we're living in. He probably would have created his own industry, and a lot of people would have actually learned and knew and would have gotten enough information to bring to their friends and family after, retrieving this type of information at the learning centers. Because that's what he called it. He called it basically learning centers, and he didn't want it to make it seem like it was all based on him. It was based on people coming in with inquisitions and things to offer. And then, the end result was to learn how to, grow your own herbs. It was based on how to grow your own fruits. It was based on how to heal on an intercellular level. So, basically we can kind of look at it like a learning center or a health ministry. It's something that we're building upon to this day.
Right. Now you talked about how he would have had his own industry. To some degree, now you got the whole. There's different people in the family who have set up different businesses based off the teachings of Dr. Sebe, right, in the family, including you. How do you all come together as part of that industry? Because really, it's like, look, Dr. Sebe is known and loved. And so the thing is, when you say he could have had his own industry, it's like it's still going on through you all, no? Or how do you see that? How do you see that?
I mean, I've been asked this question ever since. I've been doing this for like about 10 years now, and a lot of our family members kind of get iffy about the situation about how much love was actually built into the family. In which, when my grandfather was actually developing and learning how to, obtain and formulate the herbs, he was actually healing people. You can hear about some of the times of, him healing people precisely. He was working on so many areas, but as a man who he was, he loved his children. He loved his grandchildren. He loved everybody. Actually, he treated everybody the same, just like his children and grandchildren. Sebe he never treated me, my mom, his children's grandchildren, any kind of way. He actually treated everybody the same. So, and that helped my life out because, a lot of people just look at me and say, you're the grandson of Dr. Sebe, oh my God, OMG everything. And they pay so much homage. And I tell them, the work is in the people. You know what I mean? The work is in the people. But how I look at, in many different extents of how my family's actually affiliated and how they're going about the business, it's kind of single-handed. I'm not going to lie, it's very single-handed. There's not a lot of love and care. If you look in the interviews, or if you have any kind of arrangement of speaking to the Bowman family out here in North and South America, you're going to get a certain energy that's not really talked about because, a lot of people are getting paid to talk. A lot of people are doing things not in the brilliance of Dr. Sebe. A lot of people are not going to step in his name, right? Because once you do that, you're going to want to do what I would like to do, is talk to everybody, have a certain day or year when you decide to do these kind of things and be very decent. I'm moving very slow to where my goal is to heal the people primarily and then use the people to actually connect my family because, I have inside information about my grandfather was saying, there was going to be a selected few of people that was actually going to put the family together. And that's just something that we're working on. But I love my family at the same time, too, as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, then, good. So now, the on this subject, there's one last thing I want to know. You talked about the infiltration, of what's going on with, as far as your grandfather's, his industry or his business. Can you talk about that and the infiltration and what caused, maybe the demise? Because there's a whole bunch of people have a whole bunch of theories about what happened, but can you bring some insight on that?
Right. Well, when it comes down to what I mean by infiltration, I just feel like, there was plenty publications that had their own self-explanations on how my grandfather actually died compared to the actual story. So what I like to start with, my family that was actually, there and that can speak on and contents of how my grandfather actually made his transition compared to the headline news that everybody likes to see, or in comparison with Nipsey Hussle, because a lot of people like to, put in cahoots what actually happened to this man based on a rapper dying in the streets from a documentary that could have been made. You know what I mean? So what I like to start with is basically who was actually around my grandfather and what kind of things are they advocating, because his death didn't occur in North America. It actually occurred in South America. So when we're thinking about any of the Bowman family that we can be live and attendant for, I wasn't out there. I was actually in connection of my grandfather merely. He paid me, a few $1,000s to start my business. I remember that. He gave me a start of $5,000 to start my business and to be affiliated with what he was doing. But when it comes down to the infiltration, it was, during his transition, they blamed a lot of people that was around him, and they blamed a Hispanic man. They blamed the government. They blamed the rapper. You know what I mean? So when it comes to actuality, I always touch on the fact that, a lot of these things happen in South America, but it had nothing to do with certain people that we believe, in my opinion, this is just an opinion, but if I want to justify the reasons of how my grandfather actually made the transition, it didn't occur out here in North America. That's number one. Number two, it dealt with this happening on his land. So that didn't happen near any of his family out here. The second thing is to put in question the type of people that could have actually been around him. So I kind of shed light on that, and I definitely shed light on, just the publications that came out with, blaming certain people that wasn't even around him, that had things to do with those kind of things. So we have to be very realistic. So, the truth will actually come out, eventually about, how did that really happen? But, you can't really believe everything that you see.
Right. Well, thank you for shedding some insight on that. What I want to get on is your projects that you're doing. You got your store coming out.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? What's in the store? What can we buy from there? When is it ready?
It's going to be ready in about 2 weeks So we was able to actually get the store. I wasn't expecting the store myself. I kind of came off the circumstance of putting the products out. I kind of did only special orders. If you got to know who my friends was or my following on Instagram, basically you would have came across family-based products of my family. But a lot of people believed in my spirit. A lot of people believe that I have a message, so they kind of use their own investments to get a store, and they were just waiting for me to accept the fact that they actually have a store ready for me. So, and I believe, once I get in there and clean it up, put my products, put certain advisory points I've been explaining for 10 years, then I'll be fully up and running. So in about 2 weeks, I believe I'll just go ahead and get a store, because I haven't had one or a website in 10 years, because I always wanted to do these things single-handedly. I didn't want to, because I have a lot of knowledge, so I didn't want to, 10 years ago I knew this, so I didn't want to do all this stuff there. I wanted to take my time.
Now where is it going to be located? You have
Nevada. Out here in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, give me 1 second, Phillip. I want to make sure, first of all, everybody, we're talking to Phillip Simpson, Dr. Sebe's grandson. This brother got so much energy and so many things going on. You want to stay tuned to this, Princess. I want to get you to reset, and I also want to make sure we are up and rolling, because I want to make sure our audio is good. Let me know. Princess, are you there? Clint Casey, thank you for joining us. Jason, thank you for joining us. Princess, are you there? All right, so thank you, Clint. Yes. 1 second. Let me see. I just want to see if you all are in the Facebook land. Can you please let us know if you're hearing us? Okay, I just want to make sure we're good. I want to keep going, and we're not, because I know someone said they couldn't hear. Princess, are you there?
Yes, I am. Pardon, my phone was ringing.
All right. Are we good on Facebook? Can you hear us okay on Facebook?
Yeah, I hear you, and I see.
You see this handsome brother on the other side?
I see Phillip. Yes, I see Phillip.
All right.
Golden throne.
All right. Yes.
Beautiful piece too. Yeah.
All right. So good. I just want to make sure you can hear us okay. All right. So now let's get back to it, Phillip. What I want to know. Okay. So now you were talking about in your store, you have these plant-based meals. I want you to go into that with everybody. When you're speaking on what kind of stores we need to set up right now. Because, see, you're going along the lines of what we're doing with the UNA University, making sure people are under trust, making sure, your business is not under the state. So we're selling foods that are good for the people. Talk about it. Let's hear that.
Well, yes. Well, I'm starting off with just the idea, because I'm fully connected with Mother Nature. Mother Nature basically jumps me in. Mother Nature, I'm affiliated. I love Mother Nature. I'm an initiation with it. So a lot of the problems with Mother Nature is, a lot of us, we don't really read labels. We really don't see how to exercise our right when it comes to getting healthy. Because a lot of us are still going into the grocery stores, buying genetically modified foods and a lot of starch and a little bit of candy and a whole bunch of meat. But, those are just for people that probably are practicing veganism or recreational ways of how to eat. But we have to understand of how to get foods to assimilate. So what I mean by these things is the labels definitely count. So when you're going about your labels, you have to find a label that begins with the number 9, because 9 is grown naturally. And, once you start with a label, you can start with making, at least 5 to 10 meals for breakfast. Once you learn how to make 5 to 10 meals for breakfast, that's going to defeat the purpose of buying inorganic starch. Starch is really bad on the body, just like gluten. I had a full-fledged conversation with a brother, and he's trying to heal his mom because she put so much gluten in. Gluten's in all the American brands on the shelf. If you're not practicing naturalism, following the alkaline food list, that's defeating the purpose of the food pyramid that's cursed, because we totally have violated ourselves if we're not actually knowing the different type of violations. So what we're doing is we're actually coming out with discovering how we're going to be able to preserve food. I've been working on this for about 5 years because, we all ask ourselves, I want to make my own food. I want to be able to ship my own food. I want to be able for my family, my friends to eat my own food. How can I go about this? So for the last 5 years, we've been getting with a lot of different type of people and gathering a lot of information. But what we're doing, we're hitting levels to where we can actually ship very healthy foods with preservatives that will heal you. Because now I'm able to not only have fresh foods out here in Nevada, I'm linked with people that study our family, that love Dr. Sebe, that knows about the alkaline food list. Now the most difficult area in thinking is how can you actually grow some alkaline foods in the desert? That's like an oasis. How can an oasis produce fruits and vegetables? See, they don't know our kind of people. They don't know our ancestors. So what I'm linking up with of how to get healthy is to actually eat intracellular foods and where you can receive them out here in Nevada. Okay. And intracellular foods deal with how foods just don't mix themselves, because you're not really supposed to be eating fruits and vegetables on one plate because it would ferment and it will heal you. But when, during formation, when the body ferments, that's a no-no. You know what I'm saying? Because when things are fermenting, no matter if it's a plant-based fermentations, when it starts fermenting like that, it's not really good. So we don't really mix fruits and vegetables. We keep vegetables, fruits, grains, and oils. You're only supposed to be eating fruits in the morning, vegetables in the afternoon, grains at night. If you can follow this for your whole life, you're good. Or you can do it like this. If you can follow this for 30 days or 90 days, you're going to start creating an environment in your body that doctrinations will hate you. There's doctrinations that are under a doctrine based on you getting unhealthy and being prescribed medicine because you don't have the right environment to assimilate food. That's why Dr. Sebe was ahead of his time. Exponentially. Me and my grandfather, we used to talk about God and how I haven't ate food for 2 days. Tomorrow's gonna be my third day. I'm not gonna eat food for 7 days. The thing that we should put in question is how do we even have plants that help us gain weight even without foods? Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, these are just plants. They contain fiber. They will slow down your metabolism. What made something like that? Right. What made anything? Because right now the biggest issue is food. It's always food. My grandpa always tell people he has the formulas, he has the knowledge, but he also spoke on the alkaline food list very highly. Right. Now because I want to get in there because definitely you made a whole bunch of points. Now I want to get on this. Let's go back to this. Now you said labels that start with the number 9. Talk about labels that start with the number 9. What is that? That's organically grown. That is organically grown. So you have numbers like 4. I think that means pesticides. Wait, okay. 7 means like. So let me make sure I got this right. Where are we looking on the label? There's a label. Where is it? Like, let's say there's some food here. What label am I looking on? What am I looking for on the label? Well, if it's like bagged, a fruit? If it's bagged like that, potentially it's not on the market. See, what happens is they're playing tricks on people. Okay. Usually when you bag up the fruits, it's already through a refined process. Okay. Unless you like to research and you can discover that this company is producing naturally based foods. But if these foods are out of bags and boxes, they have to have labels. So, and a lot of the times out here in America, a lot of people don't get it, but they like to code their words. And when if you take the time with a computer in your hand or a cell phone in the grocery store, start typing in these type of ingredients and look up what type of chemicals are actually in them compared to fruits and vegetables and grains that are not boxed, that are not put in plastic. So now, so this is what I'm trying to ask. Okay, so let's say, what am I going? I go to get a tomato. If I go and get a tomato, and should I be looking on the label of the tomato to see if it starts with the 9? Labels are really good. Labels are really, really good because once you see the labels, you'll be able to see a numeric expressions. They have to give you expressions. So the expressions that they give you are numbers. Now, the only number that you need to be looking for, the first digit needs to be 9. If it's not 9, it's very hard to prove if this was actually naturally grown. The second thing is, while you're looking for number 9s on foods that's not boxed, canned, or in plastic, Your second alternative is to research the foods that you're comfortable with so you can take them home. The third thing is you need to find a farmer. Form a relationship with a farmer out here in America, because right now we're waiting for a big grant at the end of this year. And I basically wanted to do what my grandfather wanted to do, because, we want to put enough money in. I'm out here in Nevada looking for people growing fruits and vegetables. Why can't we pay somebody that would actually spend some kind of time to find farmers to feed our children? Because that's the primary role. These stores don't care about us. They don't care about us. They're trying to make Lucchini. And I don't have time to worry about someone making money when I'm trying to be healthy. I don't, or my people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like how that looks. So the smartest thing I thought was to actually find community gardens, find people naturally growing these fruits and vegetables, because that's not the only, that is the only alternative.
Yes.
But that's one of the smartest things you can actually do.
Yes.
So, unless you want to do it yourself, unless you want to, take your income and do it yourself, which is very good, which is very lovely. That was a very good thing.
And it's also good to pull in it's also good. See, what you're talking about is on a governmental level as well. So when you're saying, hey, I want to pay you guys to make sure you grow food so that you can provide it to others in the community. That's on a government. Right. That's what we do with UNA. So that's beautiful. I love it. Tell me more. Talk more. Now, you talked about intercellular foods, where in the morning you're eating fruits, then vegetables, and then grains at night.
Right.
Now, I want to go back to this because you spoke about, because this is what I found in my research as well, that we're really not supposed to be eating. And even when we go back to the biblical terms or whatever, it's telling you only fruits with seeds and, certain things you're supposed to be eating. And that's one of the things, when you go back, because when you start eating like that, you're not able to eat a lot of these things that they call food on the market. But I wanted to go into it with you because I know you said you're fasting, right? Talk about when you're fasting, what it does for you. How does it enhance your mind, and what does it do?
It controls my behavioral tract. So everybody knows you're going to value yourself more than money once you have a handle on your emotions. The whole point of eating foods, especially with Dr. Sebe, the whole point of Dr. Sebe learning these kind of ways of how to get healthy was his attitude. If you listen to him, he hated himself. My grandfather was about to chop off my grandmother's head. He was always mad. And when I look at some of my brothers and sisters out here in America, they look mad as hell. They look mad as hell. So the same thing that my grandfather was going through, or my great-grandmother, or anybody, is the same thing we're going through now. So you have to create a reward system. That reward system has to be banked off of your emotions. Now, if you're always getting stressed, depressed, and mad, you need to address your endocrine system. You need to find some kind of importance of electrical foods, because my grandfather probably only scratched the surface, which is very good. There's plenty of information that we really don't know, but he scratched the surface for us to really reach anything. And it really deals with the nervous system. It really deals with the brain. But the reasons why I fast is because it puts a control. I'll be able to control how I feel compared to where I can't control. When I can't control my emotions. Now, when I would put that in the past tense. When I wasn't able to control my emotions, a lot of sugar indulgements, meat, hybrid foods, I wasn't able to control my emotions. No matter if I can specifically tell you that I could, I know personally at that time I wasn't able to control my emotions. But I'll fast, and plus I'm on very good plants, and I practice these things over and over again. I only do it because I love God, and I really believe in energy. That's something that's really being harvested from us, is energy. So a lot of us don't know energy. There's different types of it. So, once you drain all the good energy out your body, some people would use drugs to get back that energy. Some people would stress other people out to get back that energy. Some people would do they would practice insanity in different forms to get back that energy. But naturally, I don't want to do none of that stuff. I want to make it very easy in my life. So I'm gonna fast, and that's regenerating your cells. See, there was many different areas that I wish I would cry over this, but I wish my grandfather was alive because I had questions, and now I have to discover these things on my own. But I mean, this man was going into his 90s. He was going almost 90 years old, full of information, full of these things for these babies to learn. But I fast to control my emotions because they're heavily. It's a reward. It's a reward system if you can actually do that.
Excellent. Now talk about the types of energy, because I get on that a lot too, because a lot of people think that the money is in these Federal Reserve notes and the money is over here, but really, the money is the energy. Money is energy. It's currency,
Yeah.
and we are the currency. You talked about the
Yes.
types of energy. Go into that. What do you have on that?
Yes. My grandfather always talked about energy all day. His best friend, I talked to his best friend, now his best friend, but a lot of people that knew my grandfather, they will always bring up, man, your grandfather had a lot of energy, and he was skinny. And I heard stories that he was able to pick up boxes and carry fleets of herbs, and this was a tall, skinny dude. And normally, tall, skinny males that are between 50 and I would say 40, and they're still young. 40-year-olds right now are looking crazy. So 40-year-olds to 90-year-olds are kind of not really known unless they're going to the gym. They're very healthy people. They look sluggish. So they look at my grandfather like, you're tall, very skinny, but you have a lot of energy, more than the teenagers over here. What's going on? So, I just took it as a token. I started realizing as a little kid, and this was a very older person in front of me. Besides him being my grandfather, he was very old. So I used to be like, damn, I know I'm like 7 years old, and you was cleaning up. You have about 5 or 6 clients coming in. You're always on the phone. You're incorporating many different things, and you're so old. You're driving everywhere. You're doing lectures. Like, how are you doing it? So a lot of people, I started saying, all this was based on energy, and I have not doubted it my whole life.
Okay. Now tell me this. So let's get into this because I spoke about how a lot of people are claiming to be healthy. They're claiming to be this and that, and then they're not really following what they speak, and we can see that. I mean, I'm not gonna call any names, but
point them out.
No, I'm not calling any names.
Right.
But there's some of the people who speak on this stuff and they're not walking it, And now for me, I have my way. What I do, I fast a lot. There's certain things that I can only eat because most of what is out here is a hybrid. It's not alkaline. My body won't even take it. So I wanted to talk to you because, I want to talk to someone who actually is walking it. And I want you to go through like a daily eating ritual for yourself when you eat. And then, like throughout the week, how do you carry yourself with respect to food? Because this other thing you spoke on, and I'm going to let you answer that question. But you spoke on about food being the battle. It is. In my life, the biggest battle has been food and making sure that I don't allow it to control me. So for me, I do a lot of fasting. Again, I cut out a lot of things. Sugars, can't mess with it. Salts, had to cut it out. So it's like, what is it that you eat? How do you manage this battle? What is your fasting routine like?
It depends on what I've been doing to myself. So it's always going to be recreational or based on the science. I always say, if it's going to be based on the science, it's going to have to be based off of where you're at in the world. You have to know where you're at in your nation. Right now, I'm in Nevada, very dry location. Las Vegas was ran by the Las Vegas people. These was native people that looked just like you and me that wore really big gold chains. And they used to hang out with King Tut from Kentucky. They call him King Tut. He used to come out here. One thing I know is you have to know your nation. With me, I'm gonna use fruits that contain at least 60 to 70% water because I'm in a dry climate. A lot of people that come visit me out here in Nevada, they get skin issues. They get irritants very quickly because they've never been to the desert before. So you have to eat a certain way. I grew up in Ohio where you'll get a very cold frost that covers your door, and you have to kick your way out because now it gets so cold that it formulates a whole ice genre over your door. You have no way of getting out unless you just have your way out. Or even in Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up in College Park. I grew up in Fayetteville, where you have all the seasons around the whole world. So, and that's really Mecca. That's really Atlantis. So, I'll base where I'm at. You know what I mean? If it's gonna be recreational, I'll put anything in my body that's plant-based. But if it's on a science, that's when I'm looking at the temperature. On the internet, I'll look at the temperature, or I'll go outside and kind of predict the weather. But normally, there's only 3 areas of how to eat. It's just fruits in the morning, vegetables in the middle of the day, and then grains at night. And when you realize those things, you just have to compare your temperature. You have to know how many trees is around you, how much water is around you, how much stress is actually, good or bad stress is in the metropolitan areas of America, and you start eating a certain way. Or you can do what I do and just fast.
Okay, so now what kind of fruits do you eat?
Primarily, I like mango. I like mango. I really like foods that basically address my endocrine or my immune system or my skin. So usually with the skin, those are yellow and orange foods. So that's like mangoes and oranges. That's going to address your skin. So anything that's green, that's pretty much like your immune system. So orange, I would say my antagonistic system. So I would address my antagonistic system, my endocrine system. Your endocrine is basically working with your nervous system. So if you want better dreams at night, a lot of people say, Phillip, I don't be dreaming at night. How can I address that? The only way to address that are colors on the alkaline food list that are blue and black and purple. Those right there are your nervous system all day. So I would make oils, capsules, butters, and foods out of these things to address how my nervous system to be addressed. Or I'll deal with my skin. Like now I broke out on the side of my face because I had so much date sugar, a lot of plant-based breads, and it broke me out. So now I gotta fast, and I was already gonna fast, but now I gotta infuse yellow and orange inside of my smoothies because I'm not eating for 7 days. And then after I eat for 2 days, I'm gonna go on a 20-day fast. And all I do is lift weights and run. All I do is lift weights and run. That's all I really, and out here in Nevada, it hits 3 digits in temperature. 3 digits, I'm still running. So that's 100 and up. So this is the 4th hottest city in the whole world. So, and I came out here just for the sun because living in up north and in the East Coast, the buildings are very tall in New York, and up north it gets very cold. So either or. I had to move to Nevada to get some sun.
All right, now tell me about the healing. You help to heal people. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to go.
All conditions.
I want to know what type of healing you do. What do you specialize in? And what kind of people you work with?
Yeah. I remember. I've been doing this for like 10 years. I remember the first person I healed. It was a little boy in Arkansas. And then I did a video with healing a boy out there in Brooklyn, New York, and he had cancer in his brain. I healed him within 3 weeks. And this little boy told me the difficult areas that he sees out here just with eating. He said, he thanked me so much. He thanks, people like Dr. Sebe coming out just for me to be out here. I said, you have to, and he already told me, like, I watched a lot of your grandfather. And this is a 7-year-old. Now he's like 9. That was like 2 years ago. But, and that was the latest boy. That was about the latest young male I healed of, he had cancer. So one thing that I know is it kind of bothered me when he hit me because it was like, man, and I was just like him because out here in America, it was hard for me to go to these schools and I didn't want to look lame. I didn't want to look lame in the schools by the way how I used to eat. So I used to eat in the library when it was closed. The doors were always open. I used to bring my food in there. I used to attract a lot of women. I used to attract a lot of popular dudes. Like the most popular dude wouldn't even talk to me, but he'll see me walking inside the library with my food. And he used to walk in there fresh, had girls, everything. He's asking, why are you even in here? And I told him, To those stories, to being very uncomfortable around people in my early stages of life because of my grandfather and how he taught his children and grandchildren how to eat. This boy started seeing it when I was healing him, and he was studying my grandfather and also some of the publications I was explaining. So how I'm healing is basically being able to create the environment in people's body. A lot of people don't know what God gave them. God gave them the nervous system. God gave us the immune, gave us the reproductive, and we don't even know what these systems are. We really don't know what these systems were actually in place. So for God to have applications to have beneficiaries inside of the body, the way how they work is unheard of. How I heal people is just making sure that you actually have the environment for herbs to work. So 9 and 10 times, that's water, fasting, exercise. And these things aren't unheard of. They talk about this stuff 5,000, 10,000, 25,000 years ago. Look at Hippocrates. Look at the experiment that they done in the early 1900s about fasting and getting rid of cancer in different type of clinics that's uncharted. Just talk about all that stuff. My grandfather studied many great type of people, and he didn't even get awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. This is a dude that beat his case, or his first case with the government, and went back and beat a federal. Are we really not knowing what he did? So how we're healing, even to this day, is making sure that you have the environment in your body to heal. That's the number one thing. So you have to have a bondage with Mother Nature. So if you can't bond with Mother Nature, it's like, I can give you all the best herbs in the world, and I spend a lot of money on herbs, a lot. But it will reduce the illness, but it takes your greater half to expel it out the bowels, out the urinary system, out the glands to sweat. So if you're not gonna work with that, you really don't have anything, you know. But that's how we're doing, you know. And I'm healing everything. I don't want to name everything. I can't say cure, but I'm healing everything, and I mean everything. Everything.
Talk about the bondage with Mother Nature, because that's big with your. You've spoken about that quite a few times. Talk about the bondage with Mother Nature. What is that? Talk about it.
Man.
Yeah.
That goes back. You know, for all the listeners that will know or should know or would like to know, Ma is Mother Nature. You know, or however in reference and point we can case that. But I primarily know that Ma is destined for us to be healed, because there is rituals that are involved. You know, I've been picking up different ways of how people actually want to engage and be affiliated with Mother Nature. Because when I go to a park, I see people how they look at trees. I see people how they look at shrubs. I see people how they look at grass. I see people that bring plants in out their house. It's something about Mother Nature that, in the different affiliations, the different type of ways of how to, you know, if that's even the word for it. But what I will say is, the kind of engagement that's needed should be preferred for us. Because I'm not gonna lie, a baby knows if you put plants in front of a baby, fruits, babies automatically know, just like drinking and sipping from the nipple, that it should go eat plants. Just like a dog. A dog, when it gets sick, doesn't just eat your food. It's gonna sit there and it's gonna go without food countlessly until you let it out into some sun and grass. So there's something there. There's something there. We have too many indications with pets. We have too many indications with those kind of things like that to let us know that's something very special. That's something very, very special. And like I said, something has created. Really look into for everybody that's never put a plant in their house, that never really like harnessed energy, never grounded, never looked into, you know, to the sky or anything like that. There's a lot of energy out there, but you have to know how to gravitate toward it. You know, if you don't know how that happens, those discoveries are basically amongst people that are actually in these things. And, you know, you have to put in questions about any kind of genre or configurations that people are actually having to these days in which we live. You know, I could have lived a separate life, you know, because I have a whole nother grandfather. I have mad people right now I could have just observed, but I thought it was very unique that my grandfather chose to get with Mother Nature. And I thought it was very unique that he had a drug addiction, problems with women. Also, he had problems with jobs, and he decided to take corporation money. He decided to take corporation money and go learn some knowledge about how to heal himself. Even you know, in this generation, they have to do the same thing just like that. Take a little bit of what you call value, if it's going mental, physical, or spiritual. Take those values and put it right into Mother Nature and watch your return. Your return will be a lot higher than anything man-made. Anything man-made. So, yeah,
yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right. See, you getting there. You getting into that thing to get me excited. I get excited about a lot of stuff, but what you just said, because one of the things that I talk about all the time is that when you plant a seed, all right, when you plant a seed, the universe is going to return it many times over. So again, when I talk about this, nature mimics the universe. All right, nature mimics what the universe has already set out. So when you plant a seed, like you just said, the Mother Nature is going to give you many seeds back. And so when you start talking about, and we're going to get into this, the Federal Reserve notes or money or dollars, when you plant that on this side, you're planting a seed, just like you would plant one in the ground, and universe is going to return it to you many times over. So, it's beautiful that you're on that because we're on this. That's why I love talking to you. That's why I'm so happy and excited to have you on the session today, because we want to really get into that because now see, this takes us into the mind part of this game. You see what I'm saying? When we start recognizing what's really going on with nature, with the universe, then it's about getting your mind right, which is what you've been talking about this whole time, which deals with how you're eating and how your eating habits change what's going on with your mind. All right, so good. I'm excited, even more excited. I want to talk about, let's get into the mind now. Because you talked about how when you changed your diet, it helped you to control your mind. Now let's look at this metaphysical side of it, right? All right. Now, when we're talking about, you talked about planting seeds and how the universe is going to return it many times over, and Mother Nature is going to return it many times over. Talk about how you've had to deal with yourself and other people with getting their mind right so that they can come out of some of their issues with respect to finances or with respect to building and manifesting the things that they want. Can you get on that? The manifesting side.
It's ministries, different type of ministries. Like I'm going back and forth on different type of ministries we actually used to have in America. We used to have health ministries. We used to have them all over America, but they was all tore down. Where people, if they had even demonic, possession, or if they were sick with something that's mental, physical, and illness, we wouldn't have to go to a hospital and be under indoctrination. And when I used to study those things, I used to say, okay, this is a lot bigger than what I was doing. It got to the point where my grandfather had to reach out to me because some of the points I was making, and I was just like, well, I'm discovering that we not us as a whole, but there's something here that's distracting us and making us spend money over things that really doesn't have any ministry or health work at all. Generally, just think about it. If we get sick right now, are we gonna be live and attended? Are we gonna pick up an orange, or are we gonna do something that might disrespect our body and put something in it that's gonna cause a flux of problems? So when I started discovering these things, I started telling myself, like, the only way for us to get back our natural essence as people is to apply disciplinary action and also to be very affirmative about what we do as people. So when we talk about planting seeds and going about these kind of ways of what we both know, it has to deal with ministry work. It has to deal with that, because now you're gonna have to need a portfolio. Now you're gonna need pamphlets. Now you're gonna have to teach your people. Now you're gonna have collective ways of how to bridge the gap. The gap is gonna be self-explanatory. That's gonna be a lot of sick people coming in, not knowing the exponential ranges of how to get healthy. That's when you have already built a ministry. A ministry is going to have to address literally your energy, what you believe in, and health. If you practice these three things, these three different things, you should have a friend, a colleague, a family member, somebody around you that says, oh, I know a person that's healthy. That starts a ministry right there. I barely see him. I can go in a whole full-fledged neighborhood right now, and not one person is going to start telling people like, hey, I think we need to start with a community garden. Every boulevard needs to have at least one community garden. Why isn't that installed? Why does someone have to take their money and go to a store? Even at that, it's just a whole bunch of problems like that. But when it comes down to, like you said, if it involves the mental, we're talking about the nervous system. The brain is, my grandfather put a mineral chart together. The brain is copper. When we all know what copper does, it's a conductor and also a receiver. So during the times of us burning all this energy as what we do, ever since we got out the womb, we have a time and place that we're forgetting about every day of our life, and that's at night when we're going to sleep, where we're getting different downloads, different episodes, different type of futures that's going to occur before and after our death. And this is a copper brain, so you can imagine some of the stuff that we have to put forth effort just to make a ministry. I barely see them. I read up on ministries and temples that they have their own biological process of how they grow fruits and vegetables. Not being done today. That's why it took me about 10 years, but it takes a lot of work, because I don't want to be approached by somebody or anything that wants to tell me to not heal my people. Now we have an actual problem. You know what I'm saying? Because now I put together enough things of how to get healthy, but now I can't convey it because of taxes, because of societies and governments. This is crazy. But the single-handed person, all he has to do is utilize the three best things entitled to this, but not even entitled, granted or accessed or whatever we can, believe it or not. We have three different things that we should be obligated to just to bond ourselves to the mental. And the mental is very easy. The mental is just collective thoughts.
What are those three things? Name them.
Yeah, physical, mental, and spiritual. And you can jump in any one of the three. You can jump into a physical and get real feisty with people, which is really not real, because you can get feisty in your dream world, but that may not be real too as well. But then you can go spiritual. You can go spiritual. Now, if you want to be feisty with spiritual, now you're going to be involved with rituals. You're going to be involved with symbolism. You're going to be involved with utilizing your energy to combat your opponent. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many different ways of how to really approach mental, physical, and spiritual. But mental is just as relevant as spiritual. But a lot of people don't know how to jump in the three outskirts. A lot of people are just real physical. I'm gonna be real. I get outside my neighborhood. A lot of people are very physical. A lot of people aren't humble. So that's why I think it's more valuable at some point in time for you to create your own ministry. Start off with 2 people. Start off with 3 people. Make your own book. You know what I'm saying? Write your own stuff. Document your life with other people, because that's what our ancestors did. How can we're relying, most of our information is relying on text and information that was given to us from our ancestors. So why can't we start documenting our times amongst our friends and family? So it should start with 2 or 3 people. I'm starting that today. You know what I mean? So that's more valuable than $100 million. I should be having a couple $1 million pretty soon, but it's just like I don't value that. That's too physical for me. That doesn't mean anything.
Right. Now, you have started putting together your own business and putting together your own how do you say, industry, if you will. What are the challenges for you? What are you finding that is really I wouldn't say holding you back, but what are the things that you're wanting to overcome as you go into building more and more? What do you see that you need to get done?
The type of energy. Hold on, Diva. Hold on. Sorry.
All right, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. We're here with Phillip Simpson. He is the grandson of Dr. Sebe, and we're so excited to have him here with us. You see all this energy coming in through the line right here. So, all right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So you were saying, you want me to ask the
Yes.
question?
The difficult, it's just like Dr. Sabi himself. You know, you you have to know how to release a certain energy while you have business, while you're working, while you're in the households, while you're moving in the metropolitan area. The biggest issue that I have is is people that would like to partake into the same engagement as me. So, and I need a lot of support because I'm not trying to become a landowner. I believe in building a place that anybody can go to, even myself, to where we can lay our heads and learn something. So the problems are just the government. That's just they need to let people like you and me branch a lot of our ideas out. So that's what's leading me to become more powerful on the physical level. And I have to be around certain people that knows how to enhance people on the physical level. So that means certain licensing, investments, powerful people. You know what I'm saying? But you have to know how to jump. You have to know how to jump and what out of the three you're going to need. So on the physical level, you know, in which, you know, if you're able to obtain these things, is definitely needed. My biggest problem is, you know, when you get this powerful, it's just you come across governments. Now, I'm not looking to shut down a hospital. The people will shut down the hospital when they stop buying prescriptions.
Yes,
But
sir.
the thing is, when the people find out the truth, who's in the wrong? You know what I'm saying? Who's actually in the wrong? You know, when people get informed the right information, they start building and making their own and exchange this information amongst people. Who gets shut down? I'm not going to get shut down because I don't believe in owning anything. I don't believe in following a doctrination that kills people. So who's going to win and who's going to lose? It has to happen. So my project is built on the new generation that's coming up and for them to learn and start somewhere because that's what has to actually happen. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, I'm looking to build. But that's just the difficult areas. It's just certain governments, and we're working on that now. That's why I'm looking into on the physical level becoming a national. Once I'm a national, then you know a lot of governments are gonna just have to So I'm just waiting to become a national. That's it.
Okay, so now let's get on that. When you're talking about how you're waiting to become a national, because one of the things, and if I can, okay, let me make sure my our video is working right here. So now, when we're talking about becoming a national, let me
Yeah.
hold on. What are you working on? What are you? And forgive me because the screen is doing some extra strange things. All right, so let me go from here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let me make sure my screen is doing what I need it to do. All right, so now when we're talking about becoming a national, what are you working on when you're in your plight to do that? I mean, because when we're talking about putting yourself under trust, making sure that you have certain documents in place on public record. Is that the route that you're going, or is there something else that you're doing to put in place?
Yeah, that's that. I mean, I didn't find out this stuff, and I wish my grandfather would have found this stuff out because if he was a national by this time, he'll be able to enforce the military. He would have been able to make sure that he was always protected. He would have been really up there. If you're a national, you're not going to need the borders. You're not going to need government to talk to you. And I want to be national because we need great things. So when that happens, and I'm working, it should be expected for this to happen within 2 years. And I know it's going to be great for people because I want to train people to become nationals. And it deals with treasury, it deals with trust and innovations. And a lot of people get very uncomfortable with these things, and I really don't know why. Because at the same time, it's like who wants to be a slave? Some of us is probably sick right now. And if you're not a national, how can you go to a hot water spring that Dr. Sebe advocated and said, you know, this is the potential of actually healing? how can you go to Belize? How can you go to Africa? How can you go to Australia or different places to get health? My grandfather only learned natural health by getting out of America, which is it's not sad, but what made him do that? I call it the spirit. I think the spirit actually enters us and makes us do things and gives us directions of what we need to do as people. Now, the spirit's in billions of people. There's a billion people on the planet, but you can watch their spirit and see what kind of downloads they're getting. The kind of one that my grandfather got was very unique, because I meet men that do cocaine and drugs. I give them iboga. I give them a plant that will stop storing a habitual habit that will form a chemical to keep them unhealthy. So this can be drugs, this can be porn addiction, this could be fighting, this could be, if you take just a tablespoon or a certain amount, it will start alleviating the whole entire issue. So what we like to talk about is more herbs, more fruits, more vegetables, more energy. And these are the things that have to be talked about, because if not, we're going to take a lot of L's. And it's unfortunate, but we're going to take a lot of L's as people. And I'm not trying to take no L's at all.
Right. So now, okay, so you asked who wants to be a slave, and you wondered why. This information is so intimidating to people. It's a lot to know. And I'm sure you're learning right now. Even when you're dealing with national, you're dealing with trust. Now, what I want to ask you this question, because when you said who wants to be a slave, one of the things that going back to the mental side of it, we find that when you start talking about being a national, when you start talking about being sovereign, what ends up happening is that you don't have any more excuses. That's one of the problems. See, some people like their excuses. Some people like to be able to blame somebody else. When you have the control and the knowledge, you don't have anybody else to blame. And so what I want to ask you is, because I know what it takes when you're getting around people and you're learning this information, and you're trying to help other people learn the information, you're going to find some difficulty because people don't want to hear it. Tell me about your plight in trying to get this information to other people that you found.
Incentives, showing them basically the arithmetic of just aligning certain things that my grandfather started. If I gotta use Instagram to make people very happy about themselves, I will use different type of platforms. I just don't want to go enter a time where it's too modern to where people are not listening. One thing that got Dr. Sebe recognized was he had a sense of humor. My grandfather had a stupid sense of humor. He knew how to make people laugh. He used to make people that was uncomfortable comfortable. So I would just say, have a sense of humor. Use things that are tangible. Incentivize things. Give knowledge and plus more to people, because a lot of people don't want to give you the common ear, but that's when you have to reach into your I know what to do after this, since they don't want to listen to me back, and then you end up doing something to make them kind of listen to you. Get a text message, get a call, get a visit from some of these people. Make a video that seems complicated to them, and then keep constantly making this and keep sending them. If they block you, don't want to talk to you, okay, that's it. Or just go to their house and say, I know you blocked me, but at the same time, I just want to say I love you. That's it. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to say I love you, and just leave with something like that. But in this generation, and I really don't know about this generation, because, if we have to go back 20 or 25 years ago, people really cared about themselves. If you look at like the early 60s, no matter if they did introduce crack to us in the 50s or the 60s or the 70s, at least back then, those people had character. Those people had mad character. They had art. They had things that were highly admired. This generation is like, it's all gone. It's washed up. So, and that's not going to make somebody listen to you. That's going to make somebody just do the total opposite in polarity and harm themselves. And if that's something that somebody doesn't want, you need to figure out what's going to catch somebody's attention. So that's what we're working on with the store. That's what we're working on with marketing. That's what we're working on, even besides technology, how much talent and skill you have. Because at the end of the day, it's about how smart you are and how much skill and research you've done just to make somebody believe in what you do.
Right.
So that's what we're kind of working on.
Right. Now, I want to go into this thing where we're talking about your store and the products that you're going to be promoting in your store. CMOS.
Yes.
That's
I
one of the
gotta mention that.
products.
Yeah, you gotta mention that, the moss. Yes, very special.
Talk to us
Just give
about
it
the
to some
moss.
very, yes. I wish I have sea moss is very, very good, you know, because it deals with over most of the minerals we have in our body, but you gotta have real sea moss. The problem is about American sea moss is it's touched way too many times. It's actually stepped on. The phrase, you know, stepped on comes from a product being used over and over, recycled over and over again, and then it comes to you. Now you feel like you can put it and give it to somebody. Stepped on sea moss is really good. And a lot of people are buying it. A lot of people feel like it's not stepped on because it's very dry. But at the same time, the ones I came across a lot of different types of sea moss. So sea moss is very good. You know, when I take sea moss, I usually just take it for the energy. I usually take it for the minerals that I'm composed of. So when I'm taking it, I'm properly taking it for my dietary, you know, resolutions. So, because I know you talk about trust. The real trust is in health. So sea moss contains 92 out of 102 minerals. It gives back your natural essence. It helps the calcium count. It helps you with lower back pain. It helps you with achy bones. It helps you to actually do some of your tasks. A lot of people have a lot of things they need to be doing right now, but they're not getting off the couch. What makes you not get off the couch is something very unhealthy. So when I'm stagnated on the couch, and I know I'm stagnated and I have a lot of things I have to do, I go take some sea moss. As soon as I take that sea moss, I'm getting up. I am moving out. I might pack my bags and move out my place because I wouldn't even care about my place. I have too much energy. I'll say, I can't believe I was in my house, bored, depressed, and tired. And I just took sea moss one time and I'm ready to pack everything and ready to go. I'm shooting through the door. Compare, you know, but sea moss is a blessing. God created sea moss that's being grown in boulders in the ocean, and it's healing people. It's really healing people. So I paid a lot of respect to my grandfather, even discovering that. Now, one of the divers that's been diving for us for over 40 years, he has an Instagram. When he found out that I had one, me and him started operating. We started sharing the knowledge between how to obtain sea moss, and I have two of the best kinds in the whole world. It's called 40 leg and gingerhead. Gingerhead and 40 leg. Oh my gosh, they're the top two strands out of all the Irish mosses. And it makes you, it's the kind that my grandfather talked about in 2013. It's very, very good. It's very delightful. And it gives you a lot of energy. It makes you feel really good. Very, very, very good. Very, extremely good.
Now you talk about stepped on sea moss. Stepped on sea moss. Explain that to me a little bit. Stepped on versus the other. Can you?
Yeah, pre-packed.
Pre-packed.
You know, pre-packed, sitting in the market, floating, very dry. Looks like they sprinkled sugar over it.
Okay.
Sometimes it looks very stringy. It still doesn't matter. Original sea moss comes with a fluff. It fluffs up. When it fluffs in water, you can tell that it's real because it is stringy, but it doesn't have these salts on it. You know, it has to be so dry to where you'll only see rocks and the actual algae compared to little. It looks like someone would be putting, like, you know, some salt on it or something, like, and it fluffs up too much. It should only fluff just a little bit. So if you have something you put in water and it condenses and it fluffs up too much and it looks very salty, it's probably not real. But if you have the one that lets it sit in water and you have little, you know, specks of rocks and it fluffs just a little bit, very stringy, that's the real kind.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to describe these things, but yeah, it's very, very well. It's very lovely.
Okay. Now, I want to just remind everybody we're here with Phillip Simpson. Phillip Simpson is in the house, Dr. Sebe's grandson. Very honored to have him and all of his knowledge and all of his energy. All that energy.
That's right.
I want to, if you all in the audience and Facebook, if y'all have any questions, please put the questions up here. We're going to take some questions. You okay with some questions, Phillip?
Yep.
All right, and then because I want to get into another section that I know that you're excited about. The we talked about the cryptocurrency. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. All right, so
Right.
if y'all have any questions, go ahead and put your questions up. We're gonna talk about some cryptocurrency. And listen, I had to make this technology work. I had to do what I do. That I do what I do to get
Right.
brother Phillip in here. And I want to thank
No,
you
you're
so
right.
much. Hi, what's that?
No, I was agreeing. You did. You did. You really did. Just it had like it was very blurry. Now it's not blurry no more. It's not blurry no more. I wonder why. I wonder why.
Y'all don't know. I got the computer, 2 cell phones set up here, 3 cell phones set up here. We rolling. We on Clubhouse. We are on Zoom on 2 cameras. So we rolling. Look, I'm not gonna let this technology beat me. We're gonna get this thing done. Now, what I want to do, Phillip, I want to get into this cryptocurrency. Now, I think you're doing some investing. I want to hear about what you have going on, and then I'm going to talk to you about what we got going on.
Okay. Okay. Well, currencies have been around for a long time. If you want to look for coins as an individual, coins have been on the planet for millions of years, different type of coins. And some of these coins were not like many other coins of different nations. It depends if you had a boat, a horse, a car. You're going to need to have some kind of value when you actually look to own and get things. So coins have been here for a long time. And right now, we're about to enter an age where it's like these coins is really about to change people's lives. It's about to change the way how we actually do things, because you have a lot of hate out here amongst different values. Oh, only value this. Now it's digitized, and now it has its own value. Now it could be used amongst your own people. So I've had my fair share to invest in a few digital currencies, and I'm very well satisfied, because I know it's gonna put it's gonna put more dollars in my bank account. But I appreciate this generation to actually have it, and because they wanted these things to come out like 50 years from now, 100 years from now. But there have been plenty of articles, and like I think after about the 70s, there were articles talking about a digital currency being released after the 20th century. So this could have came out even a long time from now, but it actually hit the age to where digital currencies are actually out while we're living. So this is going to be high benefits, and the things that you do today with digital currencies is going to matter if you have grandchildren, if you want their children to succeed and be successful. You can use currencies to help them exchange on a certain level, and that's where I've invested in currencies like the XRP, which is going to become a new world currency pretty soon. And I just got out of a meeting with an individual. He's creating his own cryptocurrency, and he has a net worth of a few $1 billion. And he wanted this. He wants me to put some. He wants to. Well, I mean, he has his own hotel in Africa and also in Japan, and he wants me basically to help him develop healthy products that's based on this currency. So I see that this stuff is going very, very far. I didn't have no time amongst myself to see when this was actually going to travel and become what it was going to become today. But I took heed on it and definitely made certain investments on it, because I know it's going to change my life. And the digital age is pretty much approaching, so we're pretty much ready for it.
Excellent. Excellent. Because what I want to talk to you about is one of the things about this digital currency. You get a lot of hate on it, and I didn't fully understand it myself when it first came out, but this thing is taking us back to, believe it or not, the spiritual side from what I'm seeing. And that's because when I look at it, and I've explained this to my people several times, and I'm going to tell you to understand this. You can finish this sentence. I'm going to let you finish it. In the beginning, there was, come on, Phillip, don't you let me hang out like
and
this.
hold on. At the beginning, there was. I'm sorry, I don't
Phillip,
know.
The
I
word.
don't know.
The word, Phillip.
What? Can you give me the first letter?
I said the word.
The word?
In the beginning, there was the word. The
Oh, the
word.
word. Yeah. Okay. Yes. 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 Of course. No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just maybe all my parents for the lack of
Let
knowledge.
me
I
let
don't
me
know.
pick let me pick back up here. Let me pick. All right, let me pick back up. So what I'm saying is, in the beginning, Phillip, there was the word. Now listen, I talk about this because when we're looking at Bitcoin and what it did, it showed us how valuable the word is. See, this is Bitcoin is not based on anything physical. It's based on what people say it is worth. And so I got to finish this since you couldn't even help me with my sentence, Phillip.
I'm
You just
sorry.
left me hanging.
My bad. My bad.
But
My
I
bad.
got to finish this though. So when I talk about how the word is more valuable than the physical object itself, we've been seeing this, but it took Bitcoin to slap us in the face with it. So let me give you another example. When we're talking about a house, let's say the house is worth $100,000. All right, you got this $100,000 house here. There's a contract on this $100,000 house. Now, really, by the time you get finished paying for the contract, that contract you will have paid $300,000 or more for that house. You understand what I'm saying? So now the house
Right.
still is only worth $100,000, but you done paid $300,000 because of that contract with those words on it. You see what I'm saying? I'm ready to get to the point. Now, you have paid $100,000. They're going to take that contract and they're going to put that contract on the stock market. That contract is going to make millions on the stock market. Meanwhile, the house that the contract is based on is only still worth $100,000. But them words, that contract is worth millions. This is what I'm saying. Again, when we're talking about the word and what this digital phase is bringing us back to is the word and how powerful our words are. The physical thing is not where the real value is. That's why you like, oh, look, I don't need this house. I can go. I'm excited. I'm ready to go do some stuff. I'm going to manifest another house when I get to where I'm going. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
What I'm saying is, the bottom line here is this digital age has brought us back to the ability to really manifest. When we're starting to pull away from the physical end. When I get back to Bitcoin, this is a coin that's based on nothing. We have the dollar that was based on nothing, and everybody was complaining and moaning. Oh, the dollar is a fiat currency, it's not based on anything. But here comes Bitcoin, and it is the most valuable currency on the planet right now, based on nothing.
You ain't never lying about that. Man, that thing there. That thing hit so. Man, DV, you are so right. Man, you're so right.
So
Man.
I appreciate that. So what I'm saying is, I'm glad that you're investing. And one of the things that we've done here with UNA is created our own currency as well, whereby we have our coinage, we have a paper currency, we have a digital currency, because we want to be able to trade all of those amongst the members of our nation. And also members of other nations as well. So I'm glad you're tied in with respect to the people who you're working with. We're going to be working together. All right. We're going to be building and especially working with you on those farms, because we too agree with that. The farming, we are into paying our members who are farmers to make sure they get that food out to people. And so
Right.
we pay them to accept our digital currency from our nation, and then their job is to make sure this food gets to our members within the nation. So yeah, we with you, Phillip.
That's dope. I like that.
We with you. So now let's get on this now. I want you to tell everybody where they can find you, where they can buy your products, if either
Right.
now or once you get them up.
Instagram right now. I'm gonna do all the shout outs either on Instagram in about 2 weeks. So everybody, you can follow me on Instagram at Phillip, and that's spelled with two L's, PHILLIPAT Minerals. Phillip at Minerals. So it's PHILLIPATMINERILS Minerals. Phillip at Minerals. Phillip at Minerals on Instagram.com or Instagram. So it's Phillip at Minerals on Instagram, and I know by the time we have to do a second interview, I can come up with a website. It's just I'm patenting all of my products, and I'm waiting for the Secretary of State because I'm not about to have normal products, Diva. I'm about to be coming full force out here. You know, it took me about 10 years, but I'm ready to go. You know, I'm ready to go. I want to deal with real people because I wouldn't be nothing, Diva, without the people. I wouldn't be. So my grandfather. If it wasn't for the people, you know, without the people, we really don't have anything. So, you know, I'm highly appreciative of you. I can definitely, you know, reminisce on this kind of time, and I'm highly aware of this interview, and I love everything you're doing, like, seriously.
I appreciate that, Phillip. I mean, now you mentioned something about the Secretary of State and patented. Now we're gonna have to talk, Phillip. You know, okay. Be careful about. You know what they do at the patent office? They steal your stuff, Phillip. You understand?
Well, I mean, how it's gonna do that is
I'm gonna show you.
I mean, I was just making sure that, you know, if this house, there's only so much that this house can do. You know, they can have, and the thing is, you know, with patenting my herbs, you know, plants have 4 or 5 different type of families. So it's very hard to see how you're gonna do what I do. Everybody here on the planet is very unique. So the patent house did the most disrespectful thing by copying and emulating people and trying to come up with a business a year later or 10 years later or whatever they want to do. But the thing is, it's a patent house, and, you know, I just wanted to make sure that it's in their government to recognize they can't even use my stuff. It would take the patent house to have a team to do something similar to me, and I'll realize these things. So, and then I have my own way about it. So, you know, I'm going to break off from the government regardless.
Yeah,
you know,
well, we want to help you. We want to help you.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. We're going to help you break out. Because we broke out. We broke out. Yeah, so we want to help you and make sure you understand some of the options you have available before you go and put your stuff up under there. So we want to help you with that.
Right.
We're in the house with you. Now let me see if we got some questions, because let's see. I think we have some questions. Ask him if he heard of Mangliere and if he needs some Mangliere. Holla. That's our friend Jason. Jason says, yeah, do you need some Mangliere?
I love all herbs.
He loves.
Give me all, I love all herbs. I don't want to come off like that, but I love all herbs. They're for the healing of the nation, so I can't downplay any herb. I love any way where I can get some of that, let me know. I have a mailbox. I get a lot of herbs that come in from different nations all the time. So, Diva, if you can hook me up with that,
yes,
I haven't heard of that herb.
Jason,
I definitely want to see what's going on with it.
Jason is a part of our nation. He's one of our bankers. So yeah, he sends Mangliere across the states. So yeah, okay. he will definitely hook you up with that. I got Abdul. Abdul says, how can we partner promoting your brand and effectively reaching our disenfranchised populace? That's what Abdul says. How can we partner?
We got to come up with our own McDonald's, our own CVS, our own theaters. I'm just playing. Nah, we ain't got to. I mean, like I was saying about maybe 20 or 30 minutes ago, I mean, just think about the Jacksons. You know, they got with my family, the Murphys, a lot of people. It's like these people coined. I mean, a 7-year-old right now knows the hee-hee. They know the moonwalk. They know how Michael Jackson talks, and this is like a little 6-year-old. So it's about coining. You have to coin a value. So right now, that's what I'm working on this year. I want to do something that makes people believe. You know, my grandfather he didn't coin a lot of stuff, but we can look at his face and reference points and say that's Dr. Sebe. So he coined that. Yeah. So I believe that our people need to start coining things on the mental, physical, and spiritual, and valuing those things, because like I said, our people are the spiritual most ancient people in the whole world, but they're not gonna bust a move for you just because you're the same color, just because you have knowledge. So you have to make them laugh. You have to know how to get them to be involved, because being involved is very difficult. So that makes people become very uncomfortable with themselves, and but it takes a lot of practice to coin something like that. So I believe in the type of people who we are. I believe that we have to coin and incentivize certain things, because that's what Mickey D's did. And all of a sudden, they got lines. Think about what happens with this chicken sandwich. You know what I mean? I almost lost many platforms because I brought my microscope out right here that I have underneath my cabinet and put this chicken underneath my microscope and said, there's an issue right here. I'm showing you grease that has been out. I'm showing you blood, the same blood in candy, because some candies are made with blood. They're made with pigs. The same blood in this chicken comes from animals, the same blood that's over a lot of the foods. So if by the time I put on a microscope and talk about these things, someone wants to hit me with saying, okay, cancel culture is about to approach. You're gonna lose your credibility and your account, because some of your people actually go to McDonald's. So we have to coin things that are healthy, mental, physical, and spiritual, and value it. That's what McDonald's did.
Yeah.
It's you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It is what it is.
It's funny that I'm glad that you mentioned that, because one of the things with respect, I tell you, we've moved away, UNA, from the state. And we're really, now, what we do is we want to do direct business with the federal government. See, there's a difference. And because there's being federally protected, and then there's the state, which is a U.S. corporation or what have you. And so one of the things that we're recognizing is we just have to create our own businesses, just like what you're saying, our own airline, our own post office, our own, all of these grocery stores. Because when it comes to walking in a grocery store and they're trying to force me to put on a mask to walk through the store, it's like, when post office,
right.
Because we know what's really going on. We know the game, but the masses have been indoctrinated into this, and they fearful. I need to say this because, to be honest with you, I don't fear any kind of governmental agent. I don't fear your disease or what have you. What the most dangerous thing out here is your zombies, it's your people who are very scary and don't know what's going on, and then your robots, the people who just do what they're told to do under the guise of, hey, I'm just doing my job. Those are the dangerous people. The disease and the government, they're not even gonna do that. The people are the ones who you fear. And the deal is, we've got to get our businesses and organizations up and running such that we can direct those of us who know really what the deal is to go to those different stores that are outside of that system.
Right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And that's and we're talking about $1 trillion markets here.
Yeah.
We're not talking about little markets. We're not a few $100 of circulation. We have the 4th highest buying power out here in America, and we're sleeping on it, especially in the South. I remember when my mom brought me from California to Atlanta. I felt like my people out there was already ahead of the time. So now, the last time I was in Atlanta, instead of seeing one boulevard shooting a movie, now when you go to Atlanta, almost every street downtown is shooting a movie. Now there's new businesses going out. Now the circulation, Atlanta's taking over. Atlanta's taking over the whole world. And this is a small single city in Georgia. And Georgia is a very ancient city. Georgia has the first samurai sword in the whole world, and we get no respect for that.
They say like, Georgia, they say Georgia is the Sodom and Gomorrah of the Bible, according to my research. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to think in the Bible. They said I forgot what they said. Ohio, what they said about Chicago. They said, I forgot what ancient city they said that was. Can I don't think I can think of it right now. Let's see. Man, I can't really. It'll come to me one day, but I know it's not. I know that we're very special people, And with such high buying power, with such high skill and talent that we have, and spirituality, what we have, and energy forms, what we have to all put in question, what are we doing every day that goes by doing these things? You know, what changed my life was when I first came to Las Vegas, and I would never trade this in for the whole world. Now, the store that I'm putting the store that I'm putting in this building was supposed to be bought out with a $6 million deal. This place is owned by the Chinese. Now, no matter if they're looking at this, or let's just say look at it years from now, or Dave, I don't really care, because these people love me. They told me that they wanted me in China to go teach their people, and they love Dr. Sebe, and they love some of the things I was telling them in the meeting. Tomorrow we have to put down $100,000, and they already paid $10,000 for my store to be in there. So China wants our help. So, but she did tell me that certain people in the China don't like me, don't like you. But she's there to tell them, like, if you do this, this is going to build up karmic debt. Phillip says he believes in God. You talk about hate. So when someone has to balance that out, and they're very spiritual, and they see this color right here, they see that. So, you have to look at so many different things. This person's not my color. Why are they paying my way to put in these healthy things to help my people? And why are they telling me that they want me to help their own people because they know their diet is crazy? I already know that God's going to come after China. I know God's going to come after California. God's going to come after everywhere that doesn't have a ministry. It's already on record. So if you don't have your own nation, your own people, things are going to fall. Look at Rome. You know what I'm saying? Things are going to go down. And those are the L's. I don't want to speak on the losses, but I don't want to be a part of none of that. That's why I love what you got kicking right now, because I really want to do it for this young generation. I know people like you and me, we got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got it.
Well, one of the things you mentioned is about energies. You know what I'm saying? You'll hear a lot of people, they'll say, oh, the whole world hate us because of our skin color. And I'm saying, well, you haven't left the States. You just listening to what these people are telling you,
Right.
because I get love everywhere I go on this planet. Everywhere I've been. And as a matter of fact, they love the skin color. You telling me, oh, I love it. Your hair, I love your hair. You go underwater and your hair still be standing up. I love it. Again, people are saying these things, and I spoke about this. I speak about it all the time, is that when you get your energies right, you'll understand that this whole thing they're talking about racism is BS. The people are going to be willing to help you when you put out the right energy. It's not even going to matter about skin color. And if you're getting something dealing with skin color, it's something else going on that you put out somewhere else. A lot of people not getting that. And this whole racism thing is pumped up with the media. You understand? And so, hopefully, again, people will come to their senses and start to recognize that this game, is being played on us with respect to this quote unquote racism. I know what you think you're seeing, but when you get your energies right, here's a brother that's telling you, I'm telling you, your successful people do not be hung up on that mess. Your more successful people who are in business, who are living their paradise and living their lives, their best lives, and they got all kind of different people helping them, they do not get hung up on that mess. So you got to get your energies right.
Right.
So, okay, thank you for saying that, brother. I really do appreciate it. Let's see, Yosemite Indigenous Lands. Let's see. I'm just checking to see if we have any more questions. And I want to thank you so much, Phillip, for coming on. You are exciting. You are exciting. Yeah, like I said, we definitely want to do some business. I want to shout out some people. Cheryl Barron is here. A couple of people have talked about, I was on Sebe's diet for 4 years. Who's that said? Yeah, I've been on Sebe nutrition guide for 4 years. Cheryl said that. Let's see. Christina is here. Gary Almighty. Echiwa. So I just want to give a shout out because these are some of the people that support us. Chandra, thank you so much. So yeah, we have a nation here. Scott Jeffrey, thank you for joining us. We've got our nation that we're building, and we're constantly building, and we're building with other nations. Phillip, the way that we work this thing is that UNA is a nation of nations. This means that everybody coming in is their own nation. What does that mean? One of the things we have to recognize is, like I get a lot of people asking me, well, how many people does it take to make a nation? It's like you are a nation all by yourself. You are made up of many different spiritual entities. You see what I'm saying? You are a nation. Now, the thing is your nation in order? Do you have the knowledge to guide yourself? Then you are ready to be a nation, because you've got to be able to stand on your own. You got to have the knowledge, because we don't want you to be ignorant in here. A whole bunch of ignorant people trying to stand together that don't build anything. You know what I'm saying? So when you come in here, we want people to have the knowledge. We're giving you the knowledge because we want you to go off and build your own nation. It's not just about, we're going to come together and we all going to be under. If you ignorant and we all under here together, we just a whole bunch of ignorant people, that's not going to help nothing. So with that being said, Phillip, you got knowledge. You're building, and you're a nation all by yourself just because you got your vessel together. Once you get your vessel together, then you can start helping everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Because I get a lot of people, they want to go help the world, and their house is not in order. You understand? And I know for me, I can't help anybody else until my house is in order. So I love seeing that you're building and you're walking it. That's why I asked you, how do you eat, Phillip? What you eating, Phillip? You know what I'm saying?
Pretty soon, because right now, I'm putting together projects and demonstrations, and then by the end of this year, I'll be showing how to build your own house less than 7 days, and how to build a machine yourself in your house. Yes. So once and I'll show people how to build a machine that builds your own house. And these are very beautiful houses. I have a link. So
where's the link?
And we'll do like another interview for the people. So yeah, absolutely.
Where's the link? You got the link yet?
Oh, I have the link. Yeah, I have the link. I definitely have the link.
What is
definitely?
I'm asking because listen, I haven't announced it yet. Okay, I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll get.
No, that's okay.
Hey, Phillip, that's how we do when we get in our bankers meeting. We start showing off all our stuff. It's like, you know what? Let me show you what I got. And we start showing off. So we got to get you in the meeting so we can start showing off. I want you to show off your 7-day house. We're gonna show off our 3D printed house. We're gonna build. Let's do it. Let's do this.
Right. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I love it for what it is. Like, man, you hit it right in the cobblestone. Like, you setting light on. You can't build a nation not knowing that you are a nation. Yeah. We both know nations.
Yes.
And that's what it was. They're saying North America is Israel. There it is. So all the ministries out there, and I met a couple of like Israelites and other organizations of our color and everything, and it's Israel. That's really Israel. And then you have Italy and like Louisiana and France, and all these things are very important. Why? Because these places had people that had ministries and nations. And now we're in a day and time to where we're rebuilding them. I want to talk to a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 13, 14, and anything above 20 and below, and say, do you know what a nation is? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen yourself not living in an apartment your whole life, maybe setting up an income for 5 to 10 years so for the rest of your life, you don't have to think about these things? You ever become a national? You ever thought about growing your own stuff? You ever thought about anything like that? Because intelligence is going to make you build up, because as above, so below. So,
yes.
I like to keep it very, very, I do have a lot of complexity in what I talk about, but at the same time, I overstand that that we are nations, and I love you for that. I love you for the fact that you're not afraid to spread that kind of intuitive information to people, because a lot of people be perpetrating and don't know themselves, and that's when that divine right gets canceled out amongst the individual themselves. But I know you, and I love your spirit, because you're not afraid to show someone love and help them regenerate that love when you're not there. So shout out to you, Diva.
Shout out, thank you, brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna build, because I see your mind is there, And that's where it is. It's all in the mind. And when you're ready, listen. I tell people, look, I'm flying. Y'all come fly with me. So me and Phillip, we ready to fly. Okay. So
We gonna fly. We
uh,
gonna fly.
you know what I'm saying? So we've got a lot of great things that are coming up. Let me take some more questions in the house. I got Kim in the house, Princess in the house, Clint in the house. Does anybody have any questions? Clint, Kim, Divine Williams is in the house. Let's see. Jason says he's here. Jason's, like I said, Jason's one of our bankers. He's gonna fly with us. He's already been flying with us.
What's good?
Who else? I mean, we just listen. This thing, I'm gonna tell you, Phillip. This is how I am. Once I started to recognize who I am, and we'll say it, we're gods. You understand? We're gods. And it was like, okay, well, now that you recognize that you don't have anybody to blame for anything that's going wrong or going bad or negative in your life, you got to fix it, right? So now once I recognize, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm in control of all this. Well, we gotta start having some fun. You know what I'm saying?
You got all kind of control panels in front of you. All you gotta do is work the module. That's it. But if you don't know you got controls in front of you inside of a whole spaceship, you're gonna crash.
Yeah.
You're gonna crash.
We're flying. So I'm saying I'm just excited to be working with you. And I want to make sure we continue to build on and support you in what you're doing. Especially, I definitely want to get with you on your house that you're building, because we got our projects going on too with our 3D project. We're gonna bring it together and make it work. Who else do I have here? Jamie's in the house. Let's see. Who else is here? Anybody have any questions you want to ask Clint? Clint's in the house. Clint's got a question. Come on, Clint.
Okay. Earlier in the interview, you were talking about different parts of your family. They all have their various businesses with the knowledge that Dr. Sebe had. What kind of education do we need? How can I put this? Where we know that when we are wanting some of these products for ourselves, in keeping with the authenticity of the products that he was talking about, so that we know that we're not getting off track, and if we're looking into buying something from someone else, how do we know that they're not keeping with that authenticity of the plant foods that he was talking about? And how do we know that what we're getting is what he was teaching?
Okay, did you hear that, Phillip?
Kind of.
How do we know that what we're getting is authentic? How do we make sure we're in keeping with the teachings of Dr. Sebe?
You guys just hit it right there. Dr. Sebe was a teacher with the best products in the Western world. I'm not gonna blame. I'm not gonna. What I don't do is do something that's gonna tamper with the energy of Dr. Sebe. So we all know Dr. Sebe was a teacher, right? So we all know that if you're gonna get products, and this is from my own bloodline. This goes for any herbalist, anybody. Besides Dr. Sebe, anything. If you see somebody and they're teaching and they have reputable services that heal people, the authentication is in the pudding right there. So if you don't see the same emulation, you need to put in question where they come from. So if you don't see a lecture, a classroom, a trainee, you got to put in question. That's what I'm about to do. Now, you got to ask yourself too as well. When you first seen Dr. Sebe, what did you see him with? A chalkboard, a marker board, all these things. He had herbs. He had things. Actually, he had vivid points to describe how to get healthy. So if you're looking for authentication, you have to look for the teachings. Anybody can have products. Anybody can have them. But are you going to do the same thing Dr. Sebe did and break down the composition of the body? Are you going to break down the potential of why the body was even designed? And that potentially means it may not need it to eat. So there's so many areas that Dr. Sebe covered that I'm not going to say that, you know, some people don't explain, but that's how you find the authentication of it. I'm going to be coming with just teachings, how to teach knowledge. That's it. You know, teaching knowledge instead of just putting up products. You know, products. I don't just do products because I was with Dr. Sebe. I have the same blood. And what I told my grandfather when he asked me about my device and my collective ways, where did you get that from? It's in the blood. So you have to go in the blood to start teaching. And if you don't think about what's in the blood, you're not thinking about your ancestors. So you're not thinking about your ancestors. And the only thing that you want to do as a person is make money, is going to show. And I'm really good with my eyes. I'm really good with observation. I'm too good. No one can fool me. No one can fool me at all. But it's about teaching. If you can't teach somebody to get healthy, then it's misunderstood. You know, so hopefully that answers the question. But it deals with teaching. It deals with the work, the ministry. If that's not lit, then I don't even believe it. I don't even believe it. A Mexican talked Dr. Sebe. A Mexican. And you know what that Mexican said? He said this comes from the Mayan people. If you study the Mayan people, who they are, who are they? You know, I'm not going to get too deep on that, but who are they? You know what I'm saying? So
talk about who they are.
Huh?
Talk about who they are. You say the Mayan people, who are they? Talk about it. Just a
the
little bit.
Mayan people, Mayan is the trendy word, but there's a more native tongue to the Mayan people. See, they give you the Mayan people. That's something that they put in movies. You know, like the calendar that they put in 2012, the whole world's supposed to end. The natural tongue of the Mayan people, I don't have the original name of the Mayan people, but they weren't the Mayans that you see today. Those are the compromises. The Mayan people have nappy hair. The Mayan people, if you look at the interview with Dr. Sebe's son on the Breakfast Club, I really didn't like that interview, but his son hit it on the head. He talks about in South America, you have people of our color that's going unnoticed. People that's been there for thousands of years. That's not allowed to the pyramids due to military. They're not allowed in places that they built. So they have to live in another place. And now you can't study them because you have architects in Google that don't want you to learn them. And then you have people that's allowed on the pyramid and call themselves Mayans, and those people don't look like me. They don't look like you. And then, you know, I ain't gonna say that my grandfather had all the knowledge, but he didn't have all the knowledge too as well. But, you know, the natural tongue of the Mayan people, they're not really called Mayan people, but we know when we hear that word, we know originally who they are, but we just don't have the name. But, you know, and the ones who call themselves Mayan right now, they're not really Mayan people. Those are the two Mayans.
Thank you. I just want you to just touch on it. Now, I want to go into this. That beautiful, beautiful chair behind you. Look at that beautiful chair.
Right. Oh, that's his. That's this man's right here. That's his. I bought this chair for him because, you know, my friend, I have a friend. His name is Malachi Raw. I'll never forget this. And that's why I can't just think in one direction. I'll tell my grandfather the same thing. I barely sit in this chair. I only do this chair for interviews and just to go live. That's it. I don't sit in this chair. It actually collects a lot of dust. So I got this chair because I was around an individual and I was just like, yo, man, I studied that this world is not just physical, it's also spiritual, and you can get higher returns praying on your ancestors, you know, just leaving things out, you know, leaving things outside or leaving things in your house, rocks, crystals, sage, and you'll get a high ass return. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what are you talking about? So I started tapping in with this information, this type of info, and he showed me there were certain, you know, gods in Africa, gods in North America, and we was really doing these things to become more intelligent or to have more love in our life. So I asked my friend, what can I do to tap in this energy and maybe, you know, get some returns from my grandfather? Well, do something for him. I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my grandfather. So I used to burn candles and talk to him. I remember I did this about 10 years ago, and I felt like I was talking to him. Not 10 years ago, about like 3 years ago, because he just recently just passed. He made a transition about 2016. So up to this time, I got really good at it, and knowing that your returns on this kind of level are extremely high with giving thanks and then prayer to your ancestors. I bought a $2,000 chair for my grandfather because I respected all the people that looked into Dr. Sebe. I'm just his grandson, but I don't care about me being his grandson. I'm happy that he was alive and did these things. So for me, for my ancestor, I look at, I have a whole other grandfather. The way how I look at this is the same conversation I had with my friend, and kept it real simple. So I said, if I can do anything for my grandfather while I'm sleeping, while I'm away from my house, he has a $2,000 chair and his logo and all his herbs all around here, so he can always come back here. Anytime he comes to the planet, he has a freaking chair right here. He has anything that he needs. And ever since then, I've been feeling good about it. So, and I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life.
Excellent. Now, so with that being said, one of my guys says you got some big shoes to fill with respect to following your grandfather. Tell me about how you feel about that. As far as, because I see you take that very seriously, that you have a responsibility to uphold your grandfather's name. All right, so in upholding his name, how do you walk? Meaning, how seriously do you take this walk with respect to saying, oh, all right, I'm Dr. Sebe's grandson, and that people are looking at you. How seriously do you take what people are saying and expecting versus just what you want to do to make your grandfather proud? Tell me about that walk for you.
Things that he modified. My grandfather was known to modify people's diet. So when you met Sebe, he'll be very calm, but he wouldn't say anything and ask you questions about your health. My grandfather since I was a kid, my grandfather was able to identify disease. He was able to be in your house and look at your plant and say, that's a beautiful plant. How long you had it? And he will tell you how long he thinks you would have had it. No matter if it was an old plant, a plant you barely watered, it didn't really matter. So he was fully tapped in with Mother Nature. So to walk into his light, I just kind of rectified how I knew him. But the biggest thing is to address the primary reason. So how I walk into him is dealing with individuals and how they correspond with Mother Nature. And so I asked him, how are you eating? How much water do you drink? Simple, very simple things so I can have a result. So, after I ask simple questions and conversations, then I'll start bringing out maybe high potentials of certain environments. I might say, after knowing that maybe you like going to KFC all day, or you like doing things that's kind of unheard of, maybe I can introduce something that's going to keep you living long. Maybe I can introduce something to you. So I start off with, just simple conversations and then show them eventually that I'm a builder. I just don't deal with plants. That's one of the things I told my grandfather. I just don't, because, that was something that he taught us and installed in us. So I learned, I wanted to use my hands and I wanted to use my hands and my body. I always wanted to be capable of that. So that's when I started looking up different innovation. I started looking up structure. Structure is just elements. When I looked up elements is just detailed structures. So when I looked into that made me want to build. I started doing it since 2011. So how I'm stepping into his limelight is the same thing that's in our blood. In our blood, we're very powerful people. Very powerful. The Bowman family, they're very, very powerful people. So I have to even tell my own grandfather, or anybody besides the Bowman family, Dr. Sebe, it's in our blood. So how I step into the name of this is going into the part with our ancestors. Our ancestors had these conversations. Like, I live in Las Vegas. This was the home of the Las Vegas people. And I used to see and read about King Tut. He used to come out here from Kentucky. He had a whole bunch of gold. In actuality, they stole this man's gold. So, and they're not going to pay any homage to King Tut. They're not going to pay any homage to the Las Vegas people. So, one thing we have to do is go in our blood, go with our ancestors, and you will definitely get a lot of returns out of it. So that's how I go about it.
Excellent. Let's see if we got any more questions down here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Well, I said that. Let's see. 1 second. I just want to see if I have any more questions. Kim, you got any questions? Princess, you have any questions you want to ask? I want to thank, like I said, everybody in Facebook. Thank y'all for showing so much love to our friend Phillip Simpson. Can you please tell them once again, Phillip, where they can find you so that we can be excited and support you when your store opens?
Yes, Phillip at Minerals, and that's spelled Phillipat, Minerals, Minerals, Minerals. So Phillip at Minerals with 2 L's on Instagram, and then I know I'll come back on the channel, so I'll address the location where it's located out here in Nevada, out here in Las Vegas, and we can get it started. I'm gonna have very effective compounds where it's just a mixture of herbs.
Yeah, of herbs. And I wanna think about now. Would you be interested in coming into the university, Phillip?
How? Yes. I'll go to the university. Yes.
I put him on the spot. He can't even say no. Don't say no, Phillip. You better not say no. No. The UNA University, we deal with sovereignty, Phillip. So we're telling you the law. So we're telling you things that, again, lawyers don't even know. All right? And even if they did know, they couldn't tell you. We go deep, not only with law, but with accounting. So, I just, then that way you can get in we can start showing off our little stuff that we're doing in our own nations and have some fun with it,
Right. I'm down. I'm BUWA. I'm ready.
Yeah, we can get in there and start. You can tell us all about your house, and we're gonna tell you about our stuff, and we're just gonna pull it together and have some fun. Just have some fun with this game.
Right.
Pull our coins together. We're gonna send you some love notes, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun with this game. All right. So I want to thank our brother, Rob Banger. He should be in the house. He's the one who introduced us. I want to thank him, give him a shout out for the love. Cheryl.
Thank God.
Yes. Cheryl says, Sebe taught about what food to eat, what food to avoid, how to cleanse the carbon, or the colon, excuse me. He has a great sense of humor. That's Cheryl. Cheryl's a great supporter of UNA. Great share. My connection is not okay. So let's see. All right. Dolores says thank you, Phillip. Jamie says thank you. Let's see.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you too.
So yeah, we want to thank everybody who supported us. Thank you, Phillip, for being so patient with this technology. This technology was trying to make us not be great, but let me tell you something. You're not going to stop, Diva. We're going to get it done.
Right. Tell them.
Stop, Diva. We're going to get this done. But, Phillip, we want to have you back. And really, I want to talk to you about being a part of the university because I think you're going to get some valuable information from there.
Okay.
And we need to partner. We need to partner because I need, other business-minded people. By the way, that's what UNA University is all about. As we build, we're pulling on business-minded people around us because when we build a business, we need somebody to come step in and take it over. We build an airport, we build a hotel. Look, we need somebody.
That's the hotel for travel.
Yeah.
Traveling. Where we gonna sleep, Diva? Where we gonna sleep?
Yeah, in the hotel in the hotel that Phillip built in 7 days. All right. So y'all gotta, we're building with business-minded people, and we're just excited to have you on, Phillip. So yeah, we need to get you in the seminar, get you in the room. You're gonna hear some things that are gonna blow your mind, and that's going to help you build on what you already have started. And protect it. So we're about that, protecting the assets, baby. So thank you, Phillip. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
all for
you.
joining us. We are so appreciative of the love. We're gonna do this thing. We're gonna build without and so with that being said, let me see anybody else. Let me see before I get out of here. We honor we honor your grandfather. Let's see, good stuff. Thank you, Kim, Dolores, Jamie. Yeah, everybody, we love you. Phillip, I love you. Thank you
I love
so
you too,
much.
Eva. I love you too.
Thank you. All right, so we're out. We're in touch. Y'all catch Phillip one more time. Phillip, give them the address for you again. One more time.
Yep, on Instagram, Phillip at Minerals. Phillip at Minerals, and that's Phillip with two L's, and that's at with an AT. Phillip at Minerals.
All right, thank you, Phillip. Phillip Simpson, everybody, Savi's grandson. We're out of here. Bye bye. I love you. I love you. I
Love you
love
too.
you.